You really think death is the end? That the dead are just lying in some celestial spa listening to harp music while they wait for divine judgment? Cute. But according to Edgar Cayce, the truth is way more punk. The dead are working, studying, reflecting, and the wildest part? They probably know more about you than you do. Forget that whole eternal rest story. What actually exists is continuity, purpose, and an afterlife that might make you question everything you've been taught about heaven, hell, and this messy little life here. Because if the soul stays conscious, active, and mission-driven, then seriously, what are you doing with your life? If the dead keep growing, guiding, and even choosing to come back, maybe that problem you're having is just a lesson your soul scheduled in advance. And maybe, just maybe, you were never alone in this journey. Ready to rip the veil? You there, thinking death means game over. That you turn into dust, grass, or worse, an Instagram post that says, eternal rest. But what if I told you death is just a cosmic software update, not a crash or reboot? According to Edgar Cayce, the psychic who dropped more truth while asleep than most gurus do awake, the soul doesn't rest. It moves. Death is just cosmic Wi-Fi switching to a new frequency. Forget clouds, harps, and heavenly lounges or hellfire barbecue pits with pitchforks. Cayce describes something way more intense, the astral plane, like a spiritual co-working space with no vacation days, only reflection and purpose. You die, you study, you reflect, you digest your own mess, like checking your bank statement, except the currency is consciousness. And here's the kicker: this whole eternal rest idea. It's a comforting lie sold by those who profit from your fear. If you think life ends here, you're easier to control. Less fear of death, more courage to actually live. So no, death isn't the end. It's just a side door to the next room, and in there, the excuses stop. If you think the afterlife is an all-inclusive resort for tired souls, sipping divine mojitos, bad news. Cayce describes something more like a consciousness recycling center. No spiritual retirement. That's when the real work begins: reviewing, learning, and especially facing all the stuff you avoided down here. There's no heavenly court with angels logging your sins on some divine iPad. The judgment? It's internal. You experience your life like a director's cut documentary starring you, directed by your higher self. Spoiler alert, you don't get to edit. You feel what others felt because of you, not out of punishment, out of clarity. And clarity doesn't care for your excuses. It's like cosmic therapy without a therapist, just you, your emotional baggage, and the universe holding up a giant mirror. And the weirdest part? Some souls move through this quickly. Others get stuck like a family member who won't leave the group chat. No one's punishing you, you're just facing what you've always avoided. And truth? It doesn't care if you're ready. Karma isn't some divine pizza delivery bringing pain to your doorstep because you cheated on a math test in 2007. Drop the childish idea of karma as punishment. Cayce saw it more like spiritual feedback, like your phone buzzing when you press the wrong button. Not vengeance, correction. The universe taps you on the shoulder with love or with chaos to say, learn this. You don't pay for sins. You feel consequences. Literally sometimes. Hurt someone? You might come back to feel the same pain, not to suffer, but to understand. The universe isn't vindictive, it just wants you awake. And sometimes, that wake-up call hits hard, a breakup, a breakdown, or a 3 a.m. existential crisis. Here's the deal. Karma isn't punishment, it's an invitation, a cosmic reminder that every choice echoes, and the more you ignore it, the louder it comes back. The good news? You can break the loop. All it takes is an honest look in the mirror and one brave question. What is this trying to teach me? When you learn it, the loop weakens, or at least gets a new cast. Ever had that weird gut feeling like, don't turn down that street, and then find out something bad did happen there? That might not have been your brain. Cayce believed that many of the dead never really left. They just changed jobs from soul in a body to invisible mentor. They're still around, whispering ideas, planting insights, holding the line when life gets shaky. These guides don't show up with wings or biblical names. They move in silence, sometimes through a dream, sometimes through a stranger's phrase that hits you like a freight train. They don't invade, they wait. Elevated souls don't barge in, they wait for the vibrational invite. And only when your frequency rises do you hear the signal. This isn't ghost story stuff. It's about understanding that the invisible world is way closer than you think. Cayce said the veil between the worlds is thin, like barely there thin. So the next time that random idea strikes, maybe it's not so random. Maybe it's someone somewhere softly saying, "Wake up, you're not alone." You really think you just landed here by accident? That you woke up on this chaotic rock like some cosmic extra in a spiritual reality show? Cayce said nothing is random. Souls choose to incarnate. And they don't pick spa retreats with spiritual smoothies, they pick the chaos that'll force them to grow. If your life is tough, that's because you chose expert mode. Harsh? Maybe. Empowering? Absolutely. Because if you chose this life, you can choose what to do with it. Cayce said this incarnation was handcrafted: the time, the body, the family, the trauma, all with one goal: evolution. So before you blame your birth chart, remember you agreed to this, you clicked "I accept." And if you came here, it's because something in you knew you could handle it. Life isn't a sentence, it's a mission. And when it ends, you review it and decide, go again or move on. But for now, you're here, breathing, alive. That's your sign. Because deep down, you already knew. This wasn't punishment, it was your shot. If this is all true, if the soul continues, if death isn't the end, and if even the dead have more purpose than most of the living, then here's the real question. Are you living a life you'd want to watch again? Are you making choices you'd be proud to re-experience, or hoping no one sees the rerun? And the wildest part? You've never really been alone. That sudden gut feeling, that inspiration during your darkest night, maybe it didn't come from nowhere. Maybe it came from someone who isn't here, but is. And if that's true, it changes everything. How you see pain, karma, life, death, and silence. So if this video shook something in you, made you question things, or confirmed something you always felt deep down, then hit subscribe and turn on notifications. This channel doesn't sell heaven or promise miracles. We hand you the truth even when it stings. And sometimes, that's all your soul needs to finally wake up.